What's good, YouTube? I'm Robert with the Crosscut Creations channel. Today we are going to cast some pen blanks. I want to show you my process. These are not my original processes. These are processes that I have learned through watching other people cast. So while they're not my original, maybe you're seeing this for the first time and this will help you out. If that's the case, great. If not, that's fine too. No worries. But let's get casting. Today we're going to cast with some Alumilite, and we're going to use two Caster's Choice mica powders. We're going to use silver and vibrant pink. And we'll see how that works out. I've got a silicone mold from P-Town Subby. It's the 7/8 by 7/8 by 5 1/4 pen blank mold, so we'll use that. The first thing we're going to do is we'll put our gloves on. And after we put our gloves on, we can go ahead and spray the mold with mold release. That'll just allow the resin to pop out of the mold easier after it is under pressure. There we go. So we'll just go ahead and give this a quick spritz. Doesn't take much. So, okay, here's 2 cups for 2 colors. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my cup on my scale, and I've got it zeroed out, so we're good there. I'm going to grab my A side of Alumilite, and I'm going to pour some into my A cup that's labeled. And I'm going to pour in approximately 50 grams of Alumilite. Alumilite is a 1-to-1 ratio, part A to part B. So you'll mix in 1 part A to 1 part B. And so if you pour 50 grams of A, you'll pour in 50 grams of B. If anything, you want to be over on the B side, because B is the hardener, not A. If you're over on A, you might not get the Alumilite to set up. There's a little over there, so we'll see. All right, so we've got 50 there. I don't know that the camera's gonna pick that up too well here, but I'll go ahead and pour 50 more grams of A into the second cup. All right, we're at 50 grams there. So I'm going to pour the rest of my A back into my A jar of resin, and then I'm going to cap that off and then put it away. That way it doesn't get mixed up with B, because if you mix A and B accidentally, that could be really bad. So we'll put the A away. Now I've got 2 cups filled with 50 grams each of the A side. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open my silver mica powder, and I'm going to go ahead and put some silver in. I introduce my mica powders and colors first, and I just stir them until the powder is gone and it's pretty well mixed in. I mix the color in before I put the side B in, then that way I don't have to worry about the reaction time of the A and B sides. So we'll just give this a quick stir until all the mica is seemingly gone, or at least seemingly stirred in, not gone. And then we'll just kind of set that up there. And then once we do that, I'll go ahead and I'll put that away. If you want more of a translucent color appearance, you put less mica in. If you want to put, if you want more of a solid color, you put more mica coloring in. So it's entirely up to you. It's not that one is better than the other, it's just whatever you prefer. So I'll give this a quick stir. There we go. I'll go ahead and close up my mica powder here. Again, we're using vibrant pink and silver, so we'll see how this comes out. Now that I have both of these mixed somewhat, I'll go ahead and give it another quick mix here. I'll take my stir stick out. I will put the cup back on the scale. I'll zero it out, and then I will grab my side B. Side B is the hardener, and I'm going to also pour in 50 grams. Since I poured in 50 grams of A, I'm going to pour in 50 grams of B. So we'll go ahead and get that started. Once you pour in the 50 grams of B, once you mix A and B together, the reaction does start happening. So you do need to kind of move and pay attention. $45, $47, whoops, that's all right. We're a little over 50. So on that one, and it's okay to be a little over on the hardener, it's just really bad if you're over on A and not B. So I'll go ahead and give this silver a quick stir real quick, just to get that going. I like to pour my resin at 95 degrees. I use just a trigger heat gun to check occasionally from time to time, and you can not overstir, but you can understir. So I'm going to pour in 50 grams of the B to the pink, 47, 48, 49, 50, okay, 50. So we'll pour the rest of B back in here. Close up the side B of Alumilite. And now the biggest trick is to just keep stirring your resin. And it should be continuous as much as you can. If you pour your resin, especially this Alumilite, if you pour your this resin before it hits 95 degrees, you might not get good color separation. But if once it hits 95 degrees, you'll get pretty good color separation, and you'll see the colors come alive instead of blend together. So once I stir this for a little bit, I'll put this aside, and I will stir the silver for a little bit. You have to make sure you're stirring all your colors relatively consistently and often. If you don't do that, it won't set up right and it won't be good. If you don't have a thermometer, 95 degrees is, you'll generally be able to start feeling on the sides of the cups here. You'll start to feel the cup warm up a little bit and feel a little warm. It also kind of thickens up. So if I check the temperature here, this will tell me I'm at about 73 degrees. So I still have a little ways to go. And you want to check your temperature right after you stir. You don't want to let it sit and then check the temperature, because then you won't get an accurate reading. So we'll sit here and stir for a little bit, and we'll eventually get there. I'll go ahead and switch back over to the pink. You're going to want to stir in all directions, counterclockwise and counterclockwise and clockwise, just to make sure you're getting a good stir. The last time I checked the silver, it was about 73 degrees. If I check this pink, right now it's approximately 73, 74 degrees. So we still have some time, which is nice. That way you don't have to completely hurry it. This is the hardest part about casting, is just making sure you're still stirring and checking the temperatures and making sure you're not neglecting one color for too long or doing any of that. So this is just, it's not even overly difficult, it's just you have to concentrate. All right. Go ahead and check the temperature up to 78, and once it starts to climb, it will continually climb and it will climb faster and faster the warmer it gets. So we went from 73 to 78, so now it should start to really kick into a higher gear, and it'll go fairly quickly. That's why you have to continually check your temperatures and check your resin to make sure that you haven't missed anything, because once it gets to that 95, it'll keep climbing, and then if you don't pour your resin, it could set up and you might just end up losing that batch. I'm not sure what would happen if you poured resin before 95 degrees, if you weren't looking for color separation, if it would be okay or not. If you know, let me know in the comments. Right now I'm looking for one of these to get to 95 first. They should get to 95 approximately at the same time, because they were both poured approximately the same time. But if one of them gets to 95, then I'm ready to pour. So we're somewhere around 80 here with the pink resin. I think this will be a really cool color combination. Again, you want to stir clockwise and counterclockwise just to make sure you get that resin nice and mixed. And I chose to do 100 grams of the pink and 100 grams of the silver. That won't fill all 4 pen blank cavities, but it'll get me at least a couple nice blanks. I still have to figure out my overpouring and underpouring when it comes to resin calculation. I know Alumilite has a calculator on their website that I try to use, and I try to get fairly close, but because I'm still somewhat new at this, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how much resin I need for each pour, so we'll get there. All right, we're looking at 94, 95, 93 for this silver, so I think we are ready to pour. I'm gonna take this stir stick out here. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna give this pink another stir just for good measure. Check its temperature, just Yeah, we're getting up there. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish stirring this pink. I'll take the stir stick out. Now I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually do a semi-modified flip cup pour. So I want the pink to be dominant, so I'm gonna pour the pink resin into the silver resin. There we go. And then let's see if we can scrape any more of that out. All right. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and pour some of this into the molds. After I pour these into the molds, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna put this on my P-Town Subby casting rack, and I'm going to put it in the pressure pot. Looks like we're gonna get 2 plus blanks, not quite 3. That's okay, because we'll be able to use that later, this third one later. So, all right, now that we have the resin poured, I'm gonna put this blank into, or this mold into my resin. Blank into the resin, what are you talking about, Robert? I'm gonna take the mold and slide it into the mold rack, and then I'm going to drop it into the pressure pot. I'm going to drop it into the pressure pot, and then I'm going to put this under 50 pounds of pressure. Now at some point, my air compressor is smaller, so it will go off at one point to recharge. So sorry about the noise when that happens. When you go to close your pressure pot, you're going to want to close the hinges or the handles opposite each other first and second. So you're going to want to do those at the same time. You're not going to want to close 2 of them right next to each other at the same time. That way you get a good seal. So once I know this is nice and tight, I'm going to introduce the air. Let me push that down. Let's see here. All right, let me grab the air hose. We're going to attach said air hose, and it will get loud. Once I get the air into the pressure pot under 50 pounds of pressure, we'll set the timer for 2 hours and then come back then. All right, now that 2 hours is up, let's go ahead and release the pressure in this pressure pot, and let's see what we have. All right, now that the pressure is released, we can open the pressure pot. Go ahead and unscrew these bolts. We'll take the lid off and let's see what we have. All right, so here's our mold. That is super cool. So this one isn't a full length, or it's not completely full. So I'm gonna pop this one out, but I'm also going to leave it for next time. So let's take these out of the mold and see what we have. Again, we used Caster's Choice Vibrant Pink and Caster's Choice Silver. Come on. Sometimes these can be a little finicky. There we go. So we'll just break that apart, and these will clean up real nice on the either the table saw or the bandsaw. Sometimes I can just break these off and they break off pretty clean like that. So, but anyway, here's what we have for these casts. I think these came out really, really cool. I can't wait to see what they look like turned. Here's the other partial that we got. That'll be easy because the next time I go to cast, what I'll do is I'll take my mold, I'll put this into the mold, I'll pour a little more resin over it, and that'll become a new layer to that mold. So I'm pretty excited. So here's 2 pen blanks that I have. I'll let these cure for about a week before I turn them. And yeah, that's pretty much my process for casting. Hey guys, here's the results of the finished pen blanks. Again, this is Caster's Choice Silver and Caster's Choice Vibrant Pink. I think these came out pretty cool. I love the way they look. They're gonna make some awesome pens. I don't know what kind of pens I'm gonna turn them into yet, but I'm sure it'll be a fun project no matter what. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This one was a lot of fun as always. I've learned that being a part of this maker community is just absolutely awesome, whether it's the pen making community, the woodworking community, the blank maker community. You know, everybody's in this all together, and I enjoy it so much, even if I'm not the best. But I'm working to get better each project, and I absolutely enjoy being down in the shop and just being able to make things. If you like the video, make sure you give it the thumbs up. Make sure you comment on the video. I answer and reply to all my comments. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share the video. If you want to support me, I am on Patreon. The link will be in the description. If you want to check out the article that I wrote for this video, you can head over to my website, cross-cut-creations.com, and we'll see you next time.